Hello, everybody. Just coming at the beginning of this podcast, just to make a few corrections that I noticed while editing this particular episode. So for one, we recorded this over Zoom, and there is a little bit of lag between my responses and my dad's responses. So I try to cut that out. The other thing is during the podcast, I did play some music for my dad. And when you listen to the podcast, you'll realize why I did that. I had to take out the music because of copyright reasons. So there's sometimes you'll notice it in the podcast that I say, oh, I'm going to play the song, but then I actually don't. I cut to us just talking about it. And then another thing was that I mentioned that Larry Graham was from Kool in the Gang, but he's actually from Sly and the Family Stone. When I was listening to the edit, I noticed, I was like, okay, wait, why would I say that? But I think I just got those mixed up. And also, since this particular episode is about a music documentary, a lot of this episode just devolves into me and my dad just talking about music for a long time. One last thing you'll notice is that I keep saying Charles Barkley when I actually mean Charles Bradley. I do clarify it in the podcast, but just keep that in mind. I say Charles Barkley like about 5 times. All right, thank you so much, guys, for listening to this episode number 9 with my dad, and we're reviewing the music documentary, our very first documentary, the music documentary Charles Bradley, Soul of America. I'm just gonna do the quick intro, and then we'll get started. We're gonna get like right into it. Basically, I'm not gonna have not that long of an intro. Let me hold on, give me 1 second. Alrighty, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Movie Boarding, the movie podcast where I force my family and friends to watch a movie. And today we have a family member. I am your host, Brian, aka Kingston Hannibal. And today, like I mentioned, I have a very, very special guest with me. Someone who has been with me my entire life and who shares a lot of my passions: music, movies, food, sports. But today we're going to be talking about 2 of those. And he is the reason why I'm alive, or one of the reasons why I'm alive.
One of the 2 reasons.
Yeah, one of the 2 reasons. Yeah. Everybody's been wanting him on the podcast. You guys asked for him, and he's here by popular demand.
I don't know.
So everybody, please welcome my dad, a.k.a. Ricardo, a.k.a. Rick, a.k.a. Ranger Rick. And there's a round of applause for you there, Dad. I don't know if you can hear it. How you doing, Dad?
I'm doing great. Thank you, son, for having me around.
No problem. Thank you for doing this. Thank you for indulging me in this. Like I told you, we're going to get right into it. I know you guys are busy with the congregation and the move. So, and also I'm 2 hours ahead. So
yeah, you're tired.
Yeah. So for this episode, we're going to be doing into a very, I guess you could say powerful, very fun documentary. It's called Charles Barkley, Soul of America. Have you heard of? I know you've heard of this because I told you like 20 minutes ago or like an hour ago what we're going to watch. But before that, have you heard of this documentary before?
No. I heard of Charles Barkley, the basketball player.
Charles. We're going to talk about Charles Bradley, not Charles Barkley.
I thought you said Barkley.
It might have.
Yes.
It did. It might have autocorrected it. No.
I didn't know that he made also
soul music,
but that's okay.
That would have been an awesome. Documentary if Charles Barkley made.
I wonder if he's gonna throw chairs in this to people through the glass.
Yeah, right. Now I don't want to give too much away, but like, have you heard of Charles Bradley as a soul singer?
No.
I'm almost positive you might have heard some of his music, just because if you were around me, I was probably playing it. But other than that, probably not. But I will say this documentary follows the incredible journey of this soul singer who actually became famous later on in life. So when he, I guess, broke it big, he was in his 60s. And he has a very unique voice, and his story is pretty unique too. And it's a very touching documentary. It's short. It's like about an hour 15. So we're gonna watch the movie together, and then we can talk about it. And but before we get into that, like I mentioned, you and I, one of our passions is movies, so that's where we're watching. But music for our family has been very important, and I would say that music has always been around ever since I was little. I think some of my memories a lot of them have to do with music. And And then, so for you, was music important for you growing up?
Absolutely, yeah. Ever since I remember, I'm not sure how or why, but yeah, definitely it's been something that has been part of the life, you know, since I remember. I think your grandpa was really pretty much into it, and the thing with him is different kinds of music,
Hmm.
uh, from Spanish to jazz to
Orchestral.
yeah, and then I started. I think my favorite group is the Beatles, of
Yeah,
course, but
same.
I think since I started listening on my own, it was with the Beatles, and I
Okay.
may have been like 6, 7 years old. Hmm.
Now, I bring this question up because there's certain songs that I have like a memory of. So whenever I hear, let's say, for instance, the song by Red Hot Chili Peppers, "Scar Tissue,"
Hmm.
I think that was popular when you would go on trips to Phoenix, and it reminded me of like being with you
Hmm.
in Phoenix, especially that time that I went there and I got really sick and like my
Uh-huh.
eardrums were like about to pop. So whenever I hear that,
Hmm.
I always think of that. So do you have a song or anything that reminds you of a certain moment or anything like that that's you associate with the memory?
I think there's a lot of it, to be honest with you, but there's one that is it's people are gonna say like what? Downtown by Petula Clark.
Okay.
And I remember that brings me way back because I
Hmm.
think that song was popular when I was 5 or 6. And that I think is that song. Every time I hear it, it's like just takes me back.
That's the one
Downtown
that's
by
like
Petula Clark.
downtown. Things
Town,
will be
yeah,
great when you're okay. Okay.
yeah.
That's interesting.
I know it's weird, but that's the one that
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah.
wow. I probably was like 6, 7. I think what happened, I was in a trip with one of my uncles in a bus from Mexico City to like Chihuahua or
Yeah, those.
somewhere.
Yeah, I've heard of a lot of those classic stories.
And then when we were in the bus, I remember something like that. Of course, what memories fade, but there's a lot more. But
Yeah.
that's one that, if you ask me, what's the first one, that will be the one.
Another one for me that I'm thinking of right now is country song. Um, oh God, what is it? It's either "Forever and Never Amen"
Hmm.
and a lot of the George Strait songs remind me
Hmm.
of the video that we have where it's me, Berna, and Jonathan pretending to like play country music with with
Uh-huh.
instruments, and it's like rackets and like shuffles and stuff.
Hmm.
That one is
Yeah.
another one that reminds me. And then like usually when I go on road trips, like I'll listen to like an album I haven't heard of. So whenever I re-listen to that album, it kind of reminds me of those things. So I also too like I was listening to Linkin Park on the way to San
Hmm.
Antonio. It reminded me of like some memories that I had. And speaking of Linkin Park, I think that was a band that you introduced me to. And it's funny to say
Really?
that you introduced me to a lot of the a lot of bands or just music in
Mm-hmm.
general. So I think I had known about System of a Down, but I really got into them when you bought an album, and I was like, I didn't know you like this music. Speaking of
Hmm.
Linkin Park, Dead Sarah was a
Yeah.
band that you for sure got me into
Hmm.
because of because of the name.
Hmm.
Joe Purdy. I
Oh,
think you even
yeah.
introduced me, or like you were the first one to show me like Dua Lipa, if I'm not mistaken.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And maybe even
This is a
Olivia
big,
Rodrigo, to be honest. Maybe even her.
yeah. Yeah,
Uh,
this is a big, big Dua Lipa house for me.
for Bob doesn't really like her, does he?
No, she does. She does.
Alrighty.
She actually likes it.
Like we mentioned, the movie documentary we're gonna watch is about a soul and R&B artist. So I'm curious to see who are some of your favorite soul and R&B artists, even funk. Which ones are the ones that stuck with you over the years?
Well, of course, the OJs, stylistics, that kind. I don't know if Earth, Wind, and Fire was one of them, but I remember. So when I was already, I guess, my teen, that was big, and believe it or not, that was big in Mexico.
Yeah, that's another question I was gonna ask you. Was that stuff like really big in Mexico?
Yeah, yeah, and it was before all this different platforms and everything. It was,
Yeah.
but there were some stations that really played some of the music, and I really liked the R&B, of course, Stevie Wonder, all those, and it was more jazz. It was Quincy Jones, and then of course, the Michael Jackson
Yeah.
and all of them. Interestingly enough, check this out. There's I guess it's more like a jazz player, like what's that? The guy's name, Buddy Miles, I think was his name. He's a drum. Check that. Um, we went to a concert there in Mexico. Many people don't know that Donna Summer, but she's more
Wow,
like
you went to go
disco.
see
But
Donna Summer.
yeah, so
Samadana.
yeah. So yeah, no, definitely. We were really into that. I don't know. It's just weird that being in Mexico. Yeah. So yeah, Buddy Miles. If you Google it, he's there. So no, I definitely like that genre. Um, and I still do. I mean, it's not as popular, but it's funny because what's his name? Bruno Mars. Remember that one of the last albums he had, they kind of went back to
Yeah, it
that
was
era.
him and what Anderson Paak,
Yeah, and
Soul Sonic.
I love. Yeah,
It's a really good
it
album.
was really good. Yeah,
Those two guys are really great.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So no, I definitely was into that. I was more, as more the classic rock, but I
Rock, yeah.
really like the absolutely. Yeah.
For me, it would be probably Prince, Otis Redding,
Otis Redding, of
Otis,
course.
yeah. R&B, I would say the more new, like the '90s R&B would be like Boys to Men, Keith Sweat, and of course you
hmm
got to give a shout out to Kool and the Gang, to the bro Larry Graham.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So that was really the music that I knew about, and of course there wasn't that many stations that played, but we managed. We really like you know, Lou Rawls. That's another one.
Oh, okay.
You'll never find another love like mine. Marvin Gaye. Uh-huh.
Oh yeah, Marvin Gaye. That's another one of my faves. Yeah,
Oh man,
good
that
pull.
that guy was awesome.
And then when you moved to the States, that's when you really got more into country.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah, yeah.
and then not only moving to the States, but also moving to Texas.
Oh yeah, we forgot about Barry White, of
Very
course.
well. Oh, okay, yeah.
No, there were definitely temptations and all that. So
Being that how music is important to us, I know that between you and mom and I, we've been to like so many concerts. Some of my earliest memories are, I think one of my earliest memories, Dad, is being at a Gary Morris concert. Gary
yeah,
Morrison,
yeah, Gary Morris
at like a beach
concert.
or something. I don't know
It
if
was
that.
like it was outside San Antonio.
Yeah, yeah.
What was that town? Univer was it? Yeah, just outside San Antonio. They had a concert for a radio station, and
And
we
then
went.
taking me to go see the Ninja Turtles and then the Garth Brooks when I was a kid. But
Yeah,
and you and mom, a lot of your dates, even now as empty nesters, so to speak, are
yeah.
going to concerts. And mom was telling, you've told me that one of your first dates was with you and mom was to a concert.
hmm
Which one was that?
Yeah, it was Rafael,
Okay.
Mexico City,
Oh, okay. Wow.
and yeah, that was and he's still, we saw him a few years ago, and he was still, bringing it. So no, definitely that was the thing. With your mom, it was different because she didn't have the same opportunities, if you will, that we
Yeah.
had. But we
hmm
definitely like to go to concerts. Still do. It's been a while though,
What was
but
the last time you guys went to?
the last concert last year, we went to the YouTube Theater here, which by the way is a great venue. Who was it? I forgot. Yeah, and it was a night. Oh, we had this in
That's right.
what's her name? Lucero. That was a good concert.
I
Yeah.
haven't been to a concert in a long. I can't even remember the last one I went to.
Well, George Strait last year.
George Strait. I mean, and then being here in Nashville, you can listen to music all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Now that we got that out of the way, just a little bit of backstory as far as me for this movie. That I found out about Charles Barkley because I'm Charles Barkley. See, now I'm doing it. Charles Barkley.
I told you, you said it.
Okay. I'm gonna text a
No,
text
no, no,
message. I've almost
no,
found it. I said Charles Bradley.
no, you did.
Oh, okay. But I
You
kept seeing
did.
Charles
But
Barkley.
yeah, I love that guy. I love Chuck. and that would be something he probably could
Yeah,
not
right.
do, but
His take on the women of San Antonio.
yeah, exactly. By the way, before I forget, I don't know if you remember one of the things of the Ninja Turtles quote unquote concert or
Hmm.
whatever. I don't know if you remember. There were some groupies, some women that were like going crazy, like it was, I don't know,
Really?
Yeah, I was like, that's the one thing I remember about that.
I remember I did fall asleep a little bit, but I
Of course.
remember it was at the Majestic Theater, right?
Yeah, correct.
And
Uh-huh.
I'm like, why? Even as a kid, as like what I was 6, probably, if not
Hmm.
smaller, I was like, this is like a theater for plays. I like why? And I mean, at 6 years old, I didn't know what a groupie was, so I don't think I even like registered it.
Speaking of groupies, you remember those ladies at the Orange County where we went to see the Bee
Oh,
Gees?
the Bee Gees cover
They
band.
wanted they wanted to dance with you.
Yeah, I do. I was quite embarrassing.
No, you were a minor, by the way.
I was.
We were kind of like,
No, I
okay,
think I was in
whatever.
my. I would think I was in my early 20s by that
Oh
point.
no, you're ready. Yeah, you're right. But they were definitely were cougars. They were like
Oh,
in
they
their
were they
40s.
were on the prowl for sure.
Hmm.
I mean, they were from the Orange County, so they probably had money. So I probably should have.
I think that's why we kind of just said, whatever. We'll let it play out. See where this takes.
See where the ship takes us.
Yeah, exactly. We could move to Orange County.
We could have been living the high life.
Exactly.
All right, so the story about Charles Bradley is I
There
heard
you
one of
go.
his songs on the show Suits. So it's a scene where the main character Harvey is playing on his record player one of the songs, and I really liked it, and I'll show it to you later. So this
Hmm.
was like 10, 15 years ago. So well, probably 10 years ago. So you had to use Shazam to like figure out what the song was. I don't know if you remember
Uh-huh.
Shazam. So then I found out and I found the album. But it's funny, but the song that made me like Charles Bradley is a song that he actually doesn't sing on. What it is actually an instrumental of the band that backs him up, the Menahan Street Band. And I just heard that song and I was like, okay, that's cool. Let me listen to the rest of the album. And then like with that, I heard
Hmm.
his music and his voice. So he has a very unique voice, and I'm gonna leave you to decide what funk soul artist that he remind there a lot of people remind him of.
Hmm.
If there's nothing else, Dad, let's get into the movie. Let's watch this movie.
Hmm.
So we're gonna watch the movie together. We'll stop the recording and then come back, and then we'll talk about the movie.
All right.
Alrighty then.
Sounds
So
good.
we're ready to watch Charles Bradley, not Barkley. Charles Bradley, Soul of America. Alrighty. Alrighty, did that. What'd you think of this? It's a very short documentary, but I think there's a lot of good stuff in it. What'd you think about it?
Oh, it's pretty touching. I mean, to see how somebody just did stop and his whole life is it's pretty rough,
Yeah,
you
his
know.
whole life was a struggle. So, like you said, he spent most of his time trying to make it. He said in the documentary it was like 42 years trying to
Mhm.
make it. Um, but you can see that all that time really helped him to like develop his personality. And so his
Mhm.
first record didn't come out until he was 62. That's
Mhm.
crazy to think that like somebody found success like that. It's not that late in life, but usually you see like athletes, musicians, actors, they usually start like in their 20s, you know?
Yeah. And even in the music, I mean, people some they start young, but
It's hard to make it big that even like past your 30s.
yeah. Although nowadays I'm gonna go with my little side commentary, with all these platforms,
Yeah.
it seems that I mean there's people with talent, but not everybody has a talent. They just have the platform and then
Yeah.
but I mean it's sad to see that somebody that really even nowadays that has
The
talent,
raw talent, yeah.
yeah, they just don't get recognized. And there's other people who honestly don't have the talent and make it huge. And when you see them,
Yeah.
um,
I agree.
you know, at concert and live, they can't perform. It's just like,
Okay. So it's funny you say that because I do think it has its good things and its bad things. One of it being
Mhm.
that with these platforms, you get a lot more exposure, but at the
Uh-huh.
same time, it gives exposure to people that probably wouldn't have gotten it otherwise, and it's just like,
Exactly. I wonder how some of these musicians, they've been struggling all their lives, like the charts, of the world that just
yeah,
never made it. And then you have these people that have basically no talent make it big. But I mean, that's life, right? That is life in general.
you have to kind of change with the times as well. And a lot of those people have
Absolutely.
to figure out, like, well, social media is a thing now. How can I
Hmm.
adapt to that? So we were talking, we mentioned several times that he was 68 years or 62 years old when he got his big break. So I've written down here a couple of people and they're famous celebrities. They got their big break older in life. So Sam
Hmm.
Jackson got Pulp Fiction at
Hmm.
46. Now he had been in the small world roles and other stuff, but at 46 he got Pulp Fiction. Morgan Freeman, he got Drive Him Miss Daisy at 52.
Hmm.
Christoph Waltz, he comes out in a lot of the Tarantino
Yeah.
movies.
Hmm.
Academy Award winner, he got Inglorious Bastards at 53. Although he had been acting in Europe and other for
Yeah.
decades, but his big debut, someone that was actually in the documentary, Sharon Jones,
Hmm.
she got her first album at 46.
Hmm.
And then, I'm sure you've heard of Susan Boyle. She was on Britain's Got Talent,
Hmm.
47 when
Yeah.
that happened. So it really doesn't matter. Like, age is just a number. You could start, your career whenever your time comes, so to speak.
Hmm. Yeah. And one interesting fact is that people that have been huge elsewhere, it's not here. I mean, one of them, Jimi Hendrix,
Yeah,
for what I understand, he was big in Europe, but here nobody knew about.
nobody knew about him. Which is one of the points I was gonna make, that it was interesting how they came up with the song, "It's Hard to Make It in America,"
Hmm.
when that scene where or he was explaining, one of the guys from the band was explaining
Hmm.
that somebody was asking him in Paris or in France,
Yeah,
like, "Oh, is Sharon Jones as big
as big.
in the
Yeah.
States as
Mm,
she is
right.
here in Europe?" And he said, "Well, no, it's hard to make it in America." And they made the song, "It's Hard to Make It in America," but when Charles Bradley sang it,
Yeah.
it took on a different meaning. Not so
Yeah.
much like the fame of making it in America, try to make it big, but also just trying to make a
From his
living,
heart.
just try to survive, especially, and you and I have
Yeah.
talked about this extensively, people that are minorities, specifically like Black America, it's hard for them to make it in America just because of the way,
Yeah.
our system is. Not I'm not talking
Yeah.
about the United States, I'm just talking about the world in general.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it was really touching when you see his situation, and
Yeah.
I didn't quite follow, but it's not like his mama was like taking care of him, right? And she
No.
basically left him, and
Yeah, so in the interviews, it's really funny that, like, the guys that are talking about that are his uncles, and
yeah,
they're
yeah,
they're just spilling the tea of everything.
yeah.
So,
Oh no, she left him.
she
She
basically left
abandoned.
him and abandoned him. He was born in Florida, she moved to New York, and they were she I if I'm not mistaken, she says something like, "Oh, I left to make a better life for our
Yeah,
kids."
like
But then
she's like,
the brothers were like, "No, she had an affair with somebody who was
that
married,
was
and
married.
he went to go chase them." And it's funny
Yeah,
because, like, she'll say like, "Oh, I left because of this," or "I did this because of this," and the uncles are like,
I
"Yeah,
like,
no."
nah.
And
Yeah.
then she was on welfare, and then,
Mhm.
she's like, "Oh, I wanted to have my kids with me." And then the uncles were like, "Well, the reason she
No,
got the kids back was because if she had them with her,
had
they
more
would give
kids.
had more kids, they would give her more money."
I know.
I like but, it's interesting to see that even though they had a really strained relationship when they were younger, he still kinda seemed like a mama's boy. And then, like,
Yeah,
yeah, I mean, I don't have that situation, I know you don't either, as far as, like, having a complicated relationship with our mothers, but I would find it really hard to, like, be my mother's caregiver
at that age.
at that
Yeah,
age, and then also, yeah, and you could tell he still has a little bit of, I don't know,
yeah.
resentment, or just, like, it's complicated for him to deal with all that stuff.
but that shows a good human being, and the thing that
Yeah,
I really
he has
like
good
about him
character.
is that he could go. See, this shows you that you don't have just because your circumstances are not the best that you need to go the wrong path
Yeah,
and then just get into crime or whatever. It,
it's a choice.
you know,
It really is a
it's a.
choice. No matter what your upbringing is, no matter it's a choice.
I mean, and like you say, you and I, we cannot put ourselves in a situation. We've been very blessed to have a steady family and friends and support system, but it's you know it's really hard for people like they're in that situation and like he showed you don't have to go that path. He could be like a complete criminal and
Criminal. Yeah,
take
I
it
mean,
against the world.
he was homeless at 14. He had to move out of his house because of his situation with his mother. But even then,
Mhm.
that still didn't really change his path as far as. And then even at 14, he wanted to he went to, oh God, what was that called? Like a career opportunities kind of thing.
Yeah, job something.
Job Corps. That's what it was. Job Corps. And even through that, he learned to be a cook. So you could see he always never let those situations like lead him towards something like a life
Mhm.
of crime. Do you think those situations like helped him like shaped his music, like his
I was gonna say that because when you have that, and that's really the basis of. Oh, by the way, I forgot to tell you that I actually went to see James Brown in Mexico
what?
back in the day. Yes, yes. Um, and I
That's
remember,
so
they
awesome.
did the whole Cape.
The Cape, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, they come and I just heard the music, but I didn't know what he was, the stage performance, and
Yeah,
it was
yeah. Mhm.
exactly like he was doing it. He did the whole thing when he kind of kneeled down and they bring the cape and all that. So yeah, I forgot about that when I saw it, I was like, oh yeah, I did that. But going back to your question, I think that uh, that's the basis of soul and blues, right? The suffering
Mhm.
and everything. And that's why one of the comedians that I heard back in the day, I think with George Carlin, that white people singing about, soul and blues. It's like,
What do you got to
what,
suffer? What
what
do
do you say? Like my membership of the glove club,
was
raised the fees or something like that. My HOA went up twenty
Yeah,
five
yeah, yeah.
dollars.
Him and I think Chappelle have such insight into some of those things that like it's really insightful. Yeah, yeah, 100%. And you know what's funny? I was saying that at towards the end, it's kind of a shame that not that it's not how can I say this without sounding it's a shame that a lot of the people that were there at his concert weren't actually like from his community.
Yeah,
I was like, like you would want like them to be there, but I guess that's just the way that it goes.
but that's really what music is about, right? I mean, to transcend,
Yeah, that's true.
we talk about this, how rock and roll really started with the African
Yeah,
Americans, uh,
country
you
music.
know, country and, you know, rap and all that stuff. And,
Yeah, hip hop.
and that's because, going back to that question about if the life experiences shape you into creating certain kind of art, music, and whatever, that's true. I think so. It doesn't mean that other people or other cultures cannot embrace it or actually do it.
That's true. Yeah,
But really, when you heard him sing, you could tell. Like one of the people there, right? There's that one of the audience ladies, I think, said, when he says "I love you," you really
you
feel
really
that
feel it. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, and on all this coming from somebody who is illiterate.
absolutely.
That
That
was
was
mind
really
blowing to
shocking.
me. And he was like, and I'm like, so how does he remember the like? They were saying what it takes him a while to figure it out. Like he writes it how he can, but
Hmm.
my goodness, like all the things that were against this person, against
Hmm.
Charles Bradley, but he still found a way to overcome. And you can tell that it doesn't. It might bother him, which we're going to talk about later, but he doesn't. He doesn't project it. Like he has
Yeah,
a very good outlook on a lot of things.
that was really touching. I wonder if he's still active or not, because that was what 2011.
Yeah, yeah.
So
So he did actually pass away.
oh,
He passed away in 2007. I'm sorry, 2017.
mm,
With that kind of to me adds another layer of like this whole thing because It was just a few years after he had achieved like that success.
Mhm.
So he was 62 and he died at 68.
Oh
Even
wow.
though his career was short lived, and it's kind of bittersweet. And despite facing all that adversity, he
Mm.
managed to leave a lasting legacy with some people.
And what do you say you found?
I was watching the show Suits,
Hmm.
and they were just playing this music in the background, and I looked it up, and I'll play the song for you in a bit. The one that I actually was listening to, and that's how I found it. And as a matter of fact, one of the things that I found interesting is that he was saying like a lot of the things that he was going through, like he was like, "Oh, sometimes I come here and I just want to, because I want to get away, and I want to get away, or I want to like be by myself and stuff like that." But I don't know if you got the sense too that he was probably suffering from like trauma, like post traumatic stress from like the traumas that he went through as a kid, or
Hmm.
even like depression that was
Yeah,
just
yeah,
undiagnosed. I don't know if you got that sense from that.
yeah. And the thing is that 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 you could tell that all that sooner or later is going to catch up with
Yeah.
you. And I think he definitely those issues, deep inside.
Again, that also kind of contributes to the music to some degree.
But it's really good, that to see a story like that, no matter what, you could still have success even in your, latter years. But that's one thing that, that song and that had that, that, you need to live your life like
Live your life
you
like you're
don't have
dying,
much.
like you don't got much time left.
Yeah. And also
And I think he did.
as you get older, people, and of course, at some point you have to, because of medical reasons, settle down. But that's another topic, maybe for another movie.
Yeah.
That don't don't just get on your rocking chair and start you know talking about the past. Because there's so much in life still ahead of you,
Yeah.
and and at the end you may have regrets that I could have done this and that, but I just choose not to. And in his case, it's like he could have. I mean, at 62, was gonna say like, "Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I'm gonna continue." So I'm glad that at the end, he had
He
a
was
good.
able to achieve some sort
Yeah.
of success. And you know
Hmm.
what's really interesting, that I feel like he had, like you were saying, that when he told people I love you, like he genuinely meant it, and he had very like a lot of childlike qualities that he had a very positive outlook on the world. Even all
Uh
the
huh.
stuff that we said that he suffered through, and the other thing that he suffered through was his brother was
For no
murdered
reason.
for the money in his wallet. And not only was it just his brother, like he said, like he looked up to him, like that was his hero.
Yeah, that was his dad too.
Yeah, that was basically his surrogate dad. And it kind of goes back to like, why is it so hard to make it in America? Like all the struggles that he went through, and
Hmm.
it really changed the perspective of the song for me.
Hmm.
Um, and another really cool thing, and I'll send you the song, but he does a cover of the song "Changes" by Black Sabbath, and it's a really good song. And I think other than I Got the Love, which is one of his bigger songs. I think that one
Hmm.
was, and it's amazing how he was able to take a rock song from Ozzy Osbourne, Black Sabbath, and like make it into a soul song.
Hmm.
So and another thing, so I actually did go see this guy live, Charles Bradley. It was at the Santa Monica Pier. It was like, I think every year Santa Monica, the pier has like a free concert
Hmm.
series, and then so that's where I went to go see him. And Bernard John took me. Real quick, I want to play you um, the song that I heard
Hmm.
first, the song that was like his most famous one. So this song is just an instrumental, and from that I was like, oh, that's a cool like song. And then it went into me looking it up. But if you look on YouTube Music, it has it, and then the other one, I Got the Love. Strictly Reserved is what it's called. Strictly Reserved by Charles Bradley. Not Charles Barkley, but Charles Bradley. And just for a second, we could talk about, man, he has an amazing voice.
He has no. It's not his fault that he sounds just like James Brown.
Yeah.
I think at the beginning, and they said it right. You don't need to be James Brown.
Yeah, he was really struggling to find his own identity because he had been James Brown like impersonator for like 20 years.
Hmm. And I think at the end, and even the few clips they had, he still had a little bit of that, and but the voice and everything is uncanny. He sounds just like him.
He really does. As someone who has seen him, you probably could attest to that. Yeah,
Hmm.
I mean, hopefully he did find his
Yeah,
voice.
his voice, the like those guys, his friends, they told him that.
Yeah, and so
So,
even though he never found huge success, he still did receive critical acclaim.
well,
And I think
the
it was
fact that he
I think it was
toured to
sad.
Europe,
Yeah, yeah, tour
yeah.
to Europe. I think that's just kind of somehow how it is that you just have to tour Europe and other, like you said, Jimi Hendrix. I know Kings of Leon for the longest time were only famous in Europe. The same with like Muse.
Hmm.
A lot of other, or even Australia or Japan. Weren't the
Hmm.
Beatles like first like really big in
Germany,
England? Yeah, in
Germany.
Germany. That's what it was, and like Japan too. I think before they
Hmm.
like made it big in Britain.
Hmm.
Or is this an artist you're gonna listen to?
Yeah, definitely, definitely. I'll look into it. It's weird because lately we've been getting a little bit back into country. I know you and Bree and John, you don't really follow some
The
of the
new ones.
newest
Yeah, yeah.
artists. We're really into Jelly Roll now. And if you hear some of his songs, uh, they're really touching. There's the last one that he's got was like, I know, right? Have you heard that song?
Oh, which song then?
It's not okay, but it's gonna be all right.
Mm-mm.
That song you need to listen to. I think it's the same thing that we're talking about.
Yeah.
All the struggles
All
that
the
he
yeah,
went
because he
through,
struggled a lot.
a lot.
He was in the prison system at some point, right?
Yeah, he was in jail from like 18 to 24 and everything. But see, that's another example of somebody who struggled and then he came out and made it big. And you can hear that in the songs
Yeah.
that he writes.
I mean, he made probably a lot of terrible mistakes, but he was able to
Absolutely.
flip his
Yeah.
life
And
around.
he owns it and
He paid
everything
the
and
price
said,
for it. He owed his debt to society.
if you hear any of the interviews, he says, I know I was not a good person. He probably hurt a lot of people. I don't know, but he said, at the end of the day, you have to kind of just own it.
Yeah.
And so, that's the kind of music that we like. So I I I really haven't heard a lot of new music other than,
I was about to ask if you
him
heard
and other.
any new stuff.
Yeah, just country a little bit, Lainey Wilson and some of the other people that I know you and Bree and John is like, that's not country. Well,
Oh, that's mostly them. I listen to Joe Purdy.
yeah, there you
If
go.
you ask me, Beyonce has a country album, but
Uh let's not talk about that, Brian. That's your opinion, that's fine.
yeah.
But
So
but
did it better than most people.
well, then in that case, when Stefani is gonna make a
I'm
country
sure she
album, so
could.
I don't know.
She's
We'll
married
see.
to a country artist. Well, let me correct myself. She made a album with a variety of different music. She had a couple country songs, but I don't think it
Mhm.
was a strict country album.
Yeah, I know.
Like Black, was it Texas Hold'em, the
Uh-huh.
Jolene cover? Those are country songs, but I think the
Uh-huh.
album is because I think there's like jazz. If you've heard it, it's a really good album. It has like
Mhm.
jazz, it has like pop, a country. So
No, but I probably once I listen more of Charles, then I can get back. It's just that's the beautiful thing about our family. We listen to almost everything except banda music, which
well, I
I'm
mean,
sorry, but
even then, even then,
it I just can't stand it.
I
See,
would say I don't listen to banda music. I listen to song, like a song or two. Like if a song's good, then
yeah,
I'll listen
no,
to
I,
it.
I know,
But like to
but
say like, oh,
yeah,
I went to go see Los Tigres
yeah,
del
like
Norte or los was it Tucanes de Tijuana or whatever it was,
and even
Tucanes.
those guys, I think they have some sort of talent, and I guess you can say okay, but some of these guys that I heard,
Los
you
Narcos,
know,
the narco ones.
the narco corridos is like that's a
Yeah, narco
perfect
videos are
example of
pretty
somebody
dope.
not having talent. It's
Well,
a perfect example of not having
perfect
any
example
talent.
of social media, of them getting
Absolutely,
hyped up on social media.
yeah. The it's like I love my culture. Uh, you know, Mexican culture. That anybody can just stand in the corner pretend to sing. There's 10 guys that join them, start banging or whatever that they find,
I
and
used to
then
work
they
at a
call it.
restaurant that had music like that, so I know it. And I'm like, as someone who played instruments like as a kid in band, I'm like, they're not even playing the same key. Like they're just like
No,
bump bump. I think the only person that actually did anything good was the drummer.
absolutely. No. Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
It's like, come on, guys. But there's different genres for every
Yeah.
people, and that's fine. But
Different
going
strokes for
back
different
to
folks.
the we listen from rock to soul to some of the jazz, so R&B and
Music in other languages
techno,
too.
techno,
Yeah.
yeah, and of course Spanish too, the good
And
Spanish
French
music.
and
Yeah,
Italian.
yeah. So I mean, music is universal, obviously, and
And then music is a big part of our worship. Yeah.
yeah, and it's like music is like food, right? There's really good food and there's not so great food, but you know, it is what it is. But yeah, that's part. It's like almost saying like, you know, music is like food, right? It's
Yeah.
like you need to have it. Can you imagine a world without music?
I can't. Yeah, that'd be boring.
You know? Yeah,
All those plane rides would be so boring.
absolutely.
Which, by the way, one of
Mhm.
the bands I mentioned earlier was Linkin Park. Have you heard some of the new Linkin Park stuff?
Yeah. I, I heard one or two songs. I really need to get back into it.
So I've listened to both them doing the old Linkin Park stuff, and they
Uh-huh.
came out with two new songs with the new
Uh-huh.
singer Emily
Yeah.
Armstrong from Dead Sarah, which is another great band
Mhm.
that you were the one that showed me. But
Uh-huh.
the two new songs where they're like their original songs with them, they're
Uh-huh.
really good. And it's very Linkin Park.
Yeah.
What I struggled with, and it has nothing to do with Emily. She's a great singer. But it was just hard for me to listen to somebody else that's not Chester. It could have literally been
Chester.
anybody else. And it's just like hard to listen to like some of the
Yeah.
classics with somebody else.
Yeah, and we talked about that. Remember a few months ago, I said I wish they could go because I mean the band, the band was great.
Yeah.
Of course, Chester was the centerpiece. That's a good one to get back
Yeah.
into. Lincoln Park. I love Lincoln Park.
It's a shame you never got to see Chester.
Yeah, I never got to see him, but
I did like 4 or 5
I
times.
never got to see Prince either. So,
Man. Or Juan Gabriel.
oh, Juan Gabriel, there you go. That's another one.
I'm fortunate that we did get to see all the. I mean, you've seen Paul McCartney what 2-3 times now.
Uh-huh.
We saw Paul. We saw
And
Ringo.
there you go. Two out
Garth
of the four.
Brooks, and
George Strait.
George Strait. Willie. We saw Willie.
Mhm.
Speaking of which,
Yeah.
Chris Christopherson, man,
Yeah.
that one.
McGee
Mom
and
said
Bully
Mom
McGee.
said that one hurt her a little bit because she really liked Chris Christopherson.
I know.
Star is Born.
But yeah, I don't know if you guys remember Bree, that we went to see. This is something that I treasure. That we went to see Fleetwood Mac
Yep.
when they came back together.
The
That was
dance,
one
the
of
dance tour.
first- yeah, that's one of the first concerts we went to, and I'm like, you know what? I got to see them live, all 5 of them, right?
That was the first rock concert I ever went to.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember it was at the Alamo Dome. It was all 4 of us.
Yeah, yeah.
It was a great
It
show.
was great. Yeah, it was a great show. And there's nothing like going to a live concert, right? I mean, that's why it's just like that whole intro, right?
Yeah, and then the first song they played was The Chain.
Yeah,
And now that they don't play together anymore, and then Christy McVie is passed too.
that's not necessary. But going back to Lincoln Park, we're all over the place.
No, it's fine.
But going back to that, it's almost like say of course the Stones, they probably need to retire now, but that's okay. I mean, I think I heard, you remember
That's another band we were going to see, the Stones. And
Yeah,
what was like
exactly.
2 months after Charlie Watts passed?
Yeah. Was that Grace Lake from Jefferson Airplane? She says, once you get at a certain age, you should just retire. I
Who?
like this. The Who, yeah. Especially those guys that had that voice.
Yeah.
That I'm pretty sure that the singer cannot. I think it's like Chester at 65, 70, he could probably not sing.
Yeah, probably him and Chris Cornell, another one that
Yeah, Chris Cornell. Oh man,
soon.
yeah. that they're going to sue.
Those two hurt, man. Those two really
I
hurt.
know, back to back. But so no, I think that some of those bands, they're it's like saying like the Stones, like Mick Jagger is no singing with them, but they still the Rolling Stones. But all that they have that history. But I think I'll give a Linkin Park, a shot in that's one thing that I'm gonna try to listen
Yeah.
to. The one band that I really want to go see soon is Red Hot Chili Peppers. I never got to see them.
And I think John Frusciante is back with them. But I actually did go see them with Brenda actually in San Antonio.
I know, I remember that. But that's one concert I'll probably be looking for.
My Chemical Romance, it's really weird now that they're like grown men in their 50s, like with families and mortgages, and they're like singing about teenage angst. I'm like, all right, guys, like that they're my favorite band of all time, but I'm just like, all right, like,
yeah, you need to.
You have teenagers, like, come on.
I know, but no, it's yeah. So we'll see what happens with these bands, and hopefully they'll grow. But yeah, definitely we want to go and see Red Hot Chili Peppers. Mom wants to see him.
Yeah, maybe take it for an anniversary, or if they're in Nashville or Charlotte, even. By the way, before we go on the final thoughts, Jerry Springer style, we got to go back to New York, man. Because he's from New York, so and he lived in the projects. He was like, oh, there's like gunshots all the time, and like I have to go to my mom's house. But other than that, we got to go back to New York. It's been, I don't know how long it's been for you, but for me, it's been like,
oh gosh,
almost 15 years, if not more.
Yeah. So yeah, once we we get to go there to Corral, it's like I think it's like an 8-hour drive, and maybe 1.5 hour. Definitely then we'll do the East Coast, for sure.
The East Coast swing. All right. So what are your final thoughts on this movie or documentary? You liked it?
I did, and I'm definitely gonna listen to Charles Barkley.
Charles Barkley. Or Gnarls Barkley. Charles Bradley. Charles Bradley, guys. I'm sure I said it like 100 times, Charles Barkley.
No, definitely, and then kind of get back into that a little more, and definitely
a little more funk and soul.
Yeah. In fact, I need to get some of those for my next karaoke day, because I'm really into it now. Maybe, who knows, maybe at 67 I will become a sensation.
A karaoke star.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Hey, if you go to the Philippines, they love the karaoke over there.
I know. Well, here in Korea,
that's true. Right? That's true. Yeah.
So definitely I can do that.
All righty then.
But no, that was really, I really enjoyed.
Well, thank you so much, Dad, for making the time. I know you guys are busy with the congregation and trying to figure out the move. But hopefully I'll see you guys soon. Either me going over there, or you guys coming over here.
All right.
All right then. Thank you so much, Dad. I appreciate your time.
All right.